Once upon a time, in the bustling, concrete-stained underworld of Johannesburg, lived a boy named David. Cute name, tragic childhood. His mom was dying, his dad was an A-plus jerk, and his only option for survival was to dodge his father's fists and dip out of that toxic household like it was the season finale of Families You Should Avoid. He crawled into the warm, cozy embrace of, wait for it, giant cement pipes on a construction site. Glamorous, right? Nothing. Fast forward a few years. David's out here reinventing himself like a 2000s MySpace user. He drops the soft David and picks up Tsotsi, a name that basically means thug with serious attitude. He's now running a street gang with his personal justice league of bad decisions. Butcher, the name says it all. He's the unhinged psycho. Up, who's got big comedic relief with trauma energy, and Boston, the wannabe intellectual who calls himself Teacher Boy, even though he, never took the teacher's exam. But hey, fake it till you make it. Chaos, crime, and one seriously bad vibe. Life's going, well, chaotically. The gang's robbing people, living hard, and skating the edge of morality like it's an Olympic sport. One night, they mug a dude. Simple. Classic. But then Butcher, who is truly in his unhinged villain era, pulls out a weapon and sends the guy to the Afterlife Express. Just like that. No warning. No chill. Everyone else is like, whoa, we were just here for the wallet, not to play Grim Reaper. Boston, the only one with functioning ethics, is not okay. He calls out Tsotsi, who responds in the worst way possible by beating Boston into next week. That friendship? Yeah, it's currently lying unconscious next to Boston. Tsotsi storms off, all brooding and angsty. Somewhere, steal a car, get a baby free. So what does Tsotsi do next? Obviously, he decides to steal a car, because nothing says mental clarity like felony grand theft. He spots Pumla, a rich woman, pulling into her fancy driveway. Tsotsi, very much in IDGAF mode, pulls a gun and gets the car. Pumla, rightfully panicking, tries to resist, and Tsotsi panics and shoots her. Spoiler alert, she survives, but now needs a wheelchair. But plot twist. He drives off and discovers a whole baby in the back seat. Like actual chubby cheeks, gurgling noises, helpless infant type of baby. Not a chihuahua, not a handbag, a 3-month-old human. Tsotsi has a full-on uh-oh moment, but instead of turning back like any semi-rational human, he loots the car, then scoops the baby up like he just unlocked the Dad expansion pack in The Sims, and heads back to his shack. Yes, he's now a kidnapper, and also, by technicality, a parent. Pray for this baby. Gunpoint daycare with Miriam the MV. Turns out, raising a baby when your entire personality is violent loner with trust issues isn't ideal. Diapers? Food? Daycare? Tsotsi's like, what? No idea what babies eat. Spoiler, not bread and condensed milk. He's running low on both skills and formula. Enter Miriam, a gentle, artsy widow with a baby strapped to her back and infinite patience. Tsotsi sees her fetching water and thinks, yup, that's my babysitter. So he follows her home and, like any respectful new parent, pulls a gun on her and demands she feed the baby. Miriam, a real one, doesn't freak out. She just feeds the baby and offers to freshen him up. Probably because she clocked that Tsotsi was in way over his head. She even lets him come back with the baby again. They chat. She asks him what's the baby's name. He takes a second and says David. They bond. There's weird but touching co-parenting, but also hostage situation energy. Love that for them. Meanwhile, shady gang boss fella starts sniffing around, trying to recruit the rest of Tsotsi's gang. He's got money, guns, and less morals than a reality TV villain. Tempting. The gang reunion and Boston's big secret. Tsotsi, feeling guilty over turning Boston into a punching bag, sends App and Butcher to drag Boston to his shack. There, Boston drops a bombshell. He's called Teacher Boy, but he never actually qualified to be a teacher. He just made it up. Tsotsi doesn't judge. Instead, in a plot twist no one saw coming, he tells Boston they'll raise the money so he can take the real exam. But how? Robbery. Obviously. Back to the scene of the baby crime. Tsotsi decides to rob Pumla's house. Again, yes, the same woman he shot. Because if you're gonna make bad life choices, you might as well go for the full set. He and App sneak in and tie up John, Pumla's husband. App stands guard while Butcher does what Butcher does best, chaos. Tsotsi heads to the baby's room, which is honestly a bit sentimental considering the baby is now half raising him. But then John trips the house alarm. Panic sets in. Butcher finds John's gun and gets ready to unalive John on the spot. Enter casting in with character development. He turns the gun on Butcher and sends him straight to the afterlife. Yes, he unalives his own gang member. For a good reason, sure, but still, this is some heavy I've changed symbolism. He and Op flee in John's car, hearts pounding, sirens closing in. Fallout feels and the end of the gang. They sell John's car and get some cash. Op is 1000% done. He's traumatized, terrified, and totally convinced Tsotsi is gonna snap one day and send him to the great beyond. Gang over. Tsotsi forcefully gives him some cash. Op dips. Tsotsi, slowly transitioning from hardcore menace to tired dad, visits Miriam again. She dishes him some food. They sit down, and he stares at baby David and Miriam's baby as the babies seem happy about the teddies he gave them. They sit in silence. He is humbled by her kindness and knows that he owes her a lot. He pushes some money to her on the table, but she refuses and pushes it back. She hits him with the truth bomb. She knows where the baby came from. And she gently, lovingly begs him to return the child to his real parents. He shows her that he also got the milk bottle and the milk formula, but Miriam pleads and tells him he can't return the legs of Pumla, but he can return her baby. She suggests taking the baby back herself, but he says he will do it himself. Before he leaves, he asks if he can ever return. She gently smiles back in agreement, and Tsotsi, touched, smiles back and leaves. Redemption Valley. Tsotsi goes back to his shack and wakes up Boston and apologizes to him. In the morning, he gets on a train, sees the homeless man he once mistreated, and gives him cash. Close to his destination, he decides to sit down with baby David and watch the sunset. Some father and son bonding time. The big decision. Tsotsi grabs the baby and heads back to the scene of the crime one last time. Pumla and John's house. He rings the intercom and, voice trembling, tells John, "Your baby. I leave it here." Tsotsi tries to do exactly that and walk away, but he hears the baby waking up. So he goes back and picks up the baby to soothe him. Inside the house, a cop spots him and alerts Captain Smith, aka Mr. Shoot First, Regret Later. The squad rolls up, full action movie style, guns pointed, itchy trigger fingers. Tsotsi gets spooked and tries to run off with baby David. Captain Smith barks, "Put the baby down." Like he's confused, this isn't an action figure. Tsotsi clutches the baby tighter. But John, real MVP, tells them to chill. He approaches Tsotsi gently, with open arms. No guns, no yelling, just dad energy. And then, in one of the most soul-snatching scenes ever, Tsotsi finally lets go. He hands over the baby, like he's releasing his pain, his past, his whole messed up childhood in one symbolic move. No words, just tears, growth, closure. With quiet dignity, he raises his hands in surrender. Fade to black. Boom.